Alright, new episode, new race. The Challenge Series returns to its hallowed home ground of Fuji Speedway for the Japanese round of the championship. 2 races to go, and the points battle is, well, it's not really as close as maybe it should have been if Barbara could just have been the person she normally is for 2 minutes. But, it's still, I say it's anyone's game. It's most people's game. There's a few people who are in contention. Hunt is the points leader at 53. Barbara's at 48. Shiro Sasaki up to 44 after a strong third place finish there at Bathurst. But then again, he's been quietly going about his business. His finishes are 7-9-3. So, Veronica also after winning at Bathurst up to 42 points. And then Logan himself is at 40, is basically the last driver with a realistic shot at this championship if things go to plan. But based on your mood as we were loading things up here, I don't think they did.
There are words I cannot say on the internet to describe how I feel.
So just another fucking Thursday, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, before emotions go any further, let's get down to business. You're green from Fuji. Holy hell, Hu Tao's car has acceleration 100. She starts 6th and can very well be 3rd at the end of this corner. Oh, there's contact. There's the accordion effect everybody knows, loves, and hates. It is one Isabel Aspinall as the POV driver of this round. No, not at Bathurst, obviously, because she didn't start last there. She started fucking 2nd. A person who's already won a race in this championship is pole sitter of DePrisco. Yo, despite having 4-wheel drive advantages, didn't hold on to 2nd. Francesca, I'm just embarrassed Dom on the exit of the turn. Holy fuck. There's some kind of like self-fulfillment here, or trying to make up for fucking around in the first 3 races that I'm looking at here. Anyway, I can't imagine that Mustang is too fun to drive through these turns. Looking at the RPM spike like crazy. Well, that's not good. Of course it was turn 1 shenanigans. What the hell else would it have been?
Brake early, give room.
Find a Mustang. You managed to break your suspension too. Was he giving help, or was that just all on his own? Who do we actually blame here? Okay, no, he had no help. And apparently no brakes either.
And still, after... he even got rear-ended himself by somebody.
Not Amaro. Because that was just a concertina effect after he hit you.
What the brake pedals are up. How many cars is under the pit lane?
8. I expect nothing less, honestly, at this point. And, oh, Hunt was caught up in all of that too, so that's, blowing things wide open. Yeah, how did this happen? Again?
Are you?
TVRs have brake pedals!
Noir, are you okay?
At this point, you're just the administrator of the braking zones. We've been calling on Francesca this whole time, but Veronica. No, Noir has been the real problem child this week. Pretty comfy lead at the end of lap 2 for the Testarossa. See what happens when you aren't running people over. You're one of the fastest people in the series. What a fucking concept.
Oh shit, people survived.
Well, yeah, we got all the dumb shit out of the way on lap 1. Once again, Veronica and Axel fighting for position. Oh boy. And both of them managed to find their way into the back of Yo. But Veronica didn't get damage, just Axel. Again. Christ, didn't the rider see how tiresome this was getting?
Didn't the script writers just use the copy and paste function?
Yeah, that, or they just fell asleep at the keyboard and just slammed their head on the H key over and over again. That's more what it feels like at this point.
Barbara, despite the fact that there's blood in the water, her, what seems to be the main title contender for her, getting damage lap 1, she herself is not using this opportunity to do shit.
Well, for one, Yo, despite having a damaged car, is making it very difficult to do shit. 2, she's got 3 more laps, and she's got one of the most powerful engines on the grid, and at this point, probably the most powerful engine among the cars that didn't get damaged at this point in the race. She's gonna get... That's the line. She's gonna get places. It's gonna happen. Especially now, when Yo is gonna have to pit, as is Axel, so she's gonna get 2 places that way anyway. Now we have a bit of a drag race down to 1 between Katsuragi and Aspinall. And, well, the NSX, unsurprisingly, can brake a little later than a Mustang. Second through fourth are definitely closing up as Francesca continues to further herself away from the rest of the pack. Dom just can't seem to find that extra little bit that'd get him up there, and seemingly neither can anyone else.
Yeah, this is a thing that is occurring, I suppose.
Fast forward to the end, the start of the second to last lap, and that's even closer together. Apparently Francesca really did not have the best final sector on that lap because Dominic and Stephanie have gotten right up to her. Stephanie versus Italy. And Isabel is just trying to find a way by Hutao at the moment. Although she's not really that close just yet, but...
Also, there was some contact on the start to last lap as we got a couple cars pitting right now.
Oh yeah, you were the contact. I suppose that's how you'd know that. Well, I'm not really sure about that one. He ain't the one that fucked with you. I don't really know what was going on there. I'm assuming that's just a classic Logan Scene Red moment.
No, that was car got loose under braking?
Or that. Well, probably a little bit of both. I imagine you were driving a little more aggressively because of that.
Also, someone else involved with who had damage, I believe.
Oh yeah, accordion effect. Hunt slowed down to avoid you and him crashing. Leaf slowed down to avoid crashing into Hunt, and Sasaki could not react in time. Well, I mean, you've gotten up to her, Dom, but can you actually do anything, or are you just gonna sit there and miss the corner and let Stephanie overtake, potentially? No, elbows out. Not gonna lose second that way, at least.
But did just essentially start a race away.
Pretty much. third way for both of them, because now they've both lost Francesca, who's got another 2-second advantage darn near. And Isabelle is fighting the losing battle, trying to outmatch a four-wheel drive Genesis through the hairpins. Sticks a bumper there. As to... Also slightly more aggressive than usual, but definitely nowhere near what Barbara was doing at Bathurst, which, speak of the devil, there she is back there in 6th. Another drag race, this time between Isabelle and Hu Tao, not Veronica. Mustang, unsurprisingly, victorious on the straightaway.
Crossover attack.
That's not even a crossover, that's just I pass now. Hu Tao just decided her brakes were better all of a sudden. Bumper to bumper through. Oh, I feel like they're probably both pretty much evenly in medium to high speed turns like this, but Isabelle just has the bravery and clears herself. Hu Tao back down the inside, but this time Isabelle finds traction and finds P4.
Now let's find our two main title contenders. Barbara's up here in 6th. Let's see.
And Hunt is 12th.
Okay, he has clawed his way out because he was a little deeper in the field last time we saw him. I suppose having less cars in front of you and a straightaway of length.
Still gonna cost him the points lead, I believe.
I think by my math it's gonna be right there.
My math. Barbara is 5 points down, but 6 places ahead, so that should be Barbara plus 1. Yeah. But, well, now that Francesca is done forgetting where the brake pedal is, she is back to victory lane here at Fuji. That is a very close 1-2-3. Dom 2nd, Stephanie 3rd, Isabelle 4th. Barbara with a 6th place that could really turn the tables here in this championship fight. She's recovered from whatever tomfoolery took place at Bathurst, whilst Hunt was caught up in further tomfoolery.
Yep.
Well, I guess might as well head on to the final race and see if there's any tomfoolery there, because there probably is. And we have arrived at the final race of the World Circuit Tours. We head to the Circuit de la Sarthe for a nighttime showdown to determine the champion. And although this post-race screen doesn't show it, I know for a fact that it was raining by the time we took the green. So it'll certainly be a visual spectacle. We'll just hope that the actual race can live up to that. I would say there are 4 cars with a legitimate shot, but really it's mostly between Barbara and Kent, who are only a single point apart going into this race. Veronica is 3rd in points, 7 back from Veronica, and then,
yes.
7 back from Barbara, because for some reason saying the name Veronica has been very difficult for me today. And then Hu Tao is...
You've been really obsessed with saying it.
Yeah, not saying it. Schrodinger's Veronica. And then Hu Tao is 10 back from the points lead. And almost half the field is literally mathematically unable to do it. Francesca is mathematically able to at 44 points, down in 10th, but that would require Barbara getting literally dead last, and I have a sneaking suspicion that isn't happening.
Yeah, no.
Even for Hu Tao to win the championship, it would require that both her and Kent finish outside of the top 10. And considering we're running Le Mans without the chicane, and those are the 2 most powerful engines on the grid, I don't think that's happening.
Lima Green for the final race of this championship, and they absolutely pissing it down Lamont.
Yeah, and once again, Huta with the whole shot. This is like the third different time that she has been able to get the quickest getaway. And obviously now that's only going to be exacerbated because, well, it's raining, so the rear-wheel drive cars are going to be speeding around, and then Huta's like, wall, four-wheel drive, goodbye. Yo also had some momentum off the exit, but, well, I think the Genesis has a little more power than the Lancer, and I fear for Yo's safety on the Mulsanne here because she just doesn't have much.
Especially with exactly who's right behind her.
Yeah, goodbye.
Well, not yet. Now goodbye.
Goodbye. A POV driver is Silica in the Celica. Another car that I don't expect to be incredibly fantastic down the Mulsanne. Having said that, she must have just had a really good run out of Tetra Rouge, because she's doing 200 plus in a Toyota Celica. Jesus. I'm doing 200 in the Countach for a second there. Veronica doing 200 in an NSX. 205, that's a Ferrari. 203 in the Genesis? And no, that's a Challenger, I can tell who the camera is. 195 is still not bad for a Genesis, but fucking Hunt takes the lead after entering the Mulsanne in P4. And here comes the kink.
And I think we sat down and when we did the tiebreakers, for essentially Hunt to win the title, he needs to beat Barbara on points, as Barbara has both the first and the second tiebreaker.
No, it's the other way around. He has the third place tiebreaker. Barbara needs to actually beat him. And with the amount of straight line speed we just saw from this Challenger, that's gonna be a little difficult by the looks of it. Now Silica is in the mix with the lead few, despite surely being a few dozen horsepower underpowered.
But probably has a lot less weight.
And grip, too. It's four-wheel drive and everything, so...
Yeah.
More grip, less weight, and presumably a little more courage, too. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone in this field went with the intermediates, which honestly we raced a little bit earlier because the rain was letting up by this point. But still, according to the moisture, this part of the track was about on that cut line between intermediates and the full wet.
Yeah, just not quite there. Obviously, anybody who decides to race, competitively is relatively brave. This isn't just the thing you do if you're a coward at all. Then there's layers to it, you know? And...
like onions.
I guess. But, like, knowing some of the personalities of these drivers, the likes of Barbara and Silica, they don't seem to fear basically anything. Maybe it's a little easier for Silica since, as we know anyway, she's literally playing a game through VR. Welcome to modern technology, but that's not what Barbara's doing. It's not what Hunt's doing either, but he knows this track like the back of his hand because he's driven here for literal hours.
And
like dozens
I believe has
of them.
even won here.
Multiple times, I believe. I think it's Thrasher to confirm or deny, but I know he's done it at least once.
Depending on age, if he's old enough, he's probably done this exact layout in those crazy cars.
I don't think he's that old now.
Okay.
His class win was overall win was relatively recent.
Okay.
I think he has both. I think he's won GT and prototype. That might be what it amounts to.
Well, whatever it is, the Freebird Solo has kicked in as
We're back on the Mulsanne. The rain has mostly stopped by this point, I believe, though.
yeah, it has It is pretty much stopped.
Yeah, the start of the race, it was almost on the crossover between inners and wets. By the end of the race, I almost wonder if slick tires would have theoretically been possible, but just not a good idea.
If it was 4 laps instead of 3, we would have gone to the slick tires.
Oh, that's interesting.
Uh-oh!
Forgot, yeah, it is Thursday, technically.
That's a problem. But not for us.
As I think we'll be done in 15 minutes. This is going to be about 7 minutes in the race, so...
Ooh, that one's a little slip and slide into the Multon corner.
Most people anyway, yeah, especially Hunt and I think DeFrisco were the biggest purveyors of sideways. That's a way to say that.
Also love it how we're essentially pack racing into Indianapolis.
They don't even pack race at Indianapolis, usually. Barbara making a peak, sticking the car there. Pretty clean racing all around.
Oh, Hunt got sideways. Here comes Barbara to the lead.
Yeah, you needed more traction than that. Somehow Barbara found traction in a...
Oh!
Never mind, didn't find it there, but she didn't need to. Dom now moves to second. Never mind there. That's a drag race between the Countach and the Challenger that the Challenger will win. Silica's back. After...
I think she had to left.
She had a bit of an iffy Mulsanne. I think she broke too early. Dom elbows out, forcing Silica to just concede. Nearly goes off the circuit in doing so.
But yeah, right now through the Porsche curve, yeah, the racing line was dry enough where slick tires were possible.
Unsurprisingly, there doesn't seem to be much tension between these two through here, despite what happened in round 2 between Kaiser and Fidonzi. Must have simply been talked out in the garage post-race, not that I was there. Just too busy with, other shit. That is a story for a different day. White flag in the air. Barbara currently doing everything she needs to after getting ahead with ambush tactics through Indianapolis. And just forcing Hunt to try and push matters beyond the limits of his own traction. Silica's still there in the wings in case, I don't know, she feels like it? I don't really know at this point.
Yeah, I knew there was like, some people talk about gentleman's agreement where we just let the top 2 in the title just battle it out. But I don't know if Silica agreed to that or if Silica's just going to say fuck it and try to win this for herself.
I mean, lap 2, she was definitely sitting behind them on the straightaway. She had a bunch of overspeed around where the first chicane would be, and she didn't take it. Now she is taking it, but I think in this case, that's more of to make, almost like to not try and bump draft, to not manipulate the race that way.
208 per second.
Silica is insanity.
Oh, Barbara just got passed by Hunt, and so this is gonna be an interesting Multon corner.
Yeah, the Challenger just has slightly more gears than the Corvette. Hunt obviously prepared for the no chicanes version of this track more than Barbara was. Not many places in the Challenge Series calendar do you get above 200 in this category, so clearly Barbara just wasn't prepared to be doing so like that. But Dominic with huge late braking.
And it's gonna cause Barbara to try to take him around the outside.
What the?
I think she does, and where the rally car?
Seemingly overcooked the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah,
She was
that's,
too early on the brakes on lap 2, and she still can't find the braking point in the seemingly endless void that is that corner down there.
And
That'll
Dom
demote her to
DeFrisco's now to
6th.
the lead.
Dom definitely didn't follow no fucking agreement, if there was one. Could just easily have been an agreement to not try and pass during the wet conditions, not to endanger the battle, but that's not really that wet anymore. No. Camera! 214 for the Countach. No wonder he got down the inside. That's 1, that's 2, that's Silica, missing. They were 3 wide there, I believe, at the apex.
And
but
Barbara just drives around the outside of Mulsanne Corner to...
defensively around the outside in some weird backwards condition there.
Overtakes while losing a position. Passes 2 cars while losing a position.
From defense into offense, back into defense, and now they're still too wide. Now just the other side of the track, Barbara's forced the long way around at the kink there, but now she has the better line through Indy. And she still finds traction.
There, and it's going to get clear of Hunt as
Francesca takes him around the outside at the braking too. Hunt is just throwing this away. He's just not able to deal with the traffic as the other 4 seem to unanimously decide, I want it and I want it now.
Yeah,
Dom makes off with the lead. Fidanzi makes off with 3rd at Arnage. Silica passed Kaiser at some point. And nearly missing the entrance, but that's just kind of an alternate line. It seems like it didn't seem to lose her any time.
I'm almost wondering if she didn't do it to cool off the tires, because it's essentially dry through here on the racing line.
Maybe that's how she has more grip than Hunt here. That's a lot of overspeed, very tight squeeze, but you can just make out the headlights of Silica making that move at the very last possible second.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Final chicanes. If I had a nickel for every time Dom DePrisco has won at a wet nighttime Le Mans, give me 2 nickels, because it's happened twice. But the obvious headline here is Barbara Page wins yet another Challenge Series championship.
And also that is Dom's 2nd win in this championship.
Yeah, if only those wins weren't compartmentalized with multiple 18th place finishes both at Watkins Glen and Bathurst due to shenaniganry.
An 18th, a win, an 18th, a 2nd, and a win. Yeah!
And neither of the contacts he had in those races were really his fault either, so... I'm trying to think. You know, he got caught up with Noir messing around at Watkins Glen, I believe, and then Bathurst, I don't remember what happened. I think it was just a concertina effect at the chase.
Yeah.
So, ultimately speaking, one could definitely make a case that Dom is probably the best competitor here, but just had, well, shit. I wish we could get a better, closer view of these cars, but I don't think we're going to be so lucky. But yeah, that will do things for the World Circuit Tours. Barbara is your champion by a margin of, I believe, 4 points? Yes, 4 points over Hunt, but I don't think Hunt can be too disappointed with his result, considering this is his 2nd week in the Challenge Series, and he damn near won the title on a team that it has a questionable state of affairs anyway. But again, story for another time. Before the maintenance boots us the fuck out of here, that will do it from me and from Logan here for week 138 of the Challenge Series. Until, well, 139, we are out of here.